Dean,
Yes.
can you cut the beat for a minute?
What's that?
Can you cut the beat for a minute?
Yeah.
I just got some regular work. Those the
All of them.
Okay. Okay, so make sure I have this right. State moves to use the CDRs for, what's TZ's government name?
Joshua Taylor.
The other person is also referred to as Ham. Harry Lockhart?
Harry, H-A-R-R-Y.
Or,
I don't believe so.
so Ham doesn't necessarily have an affiliation here. I was asking if Ham had an affiliation. Nobody really knows. Okay, that's fine. let's take them in reverse, just because that's kind of how I looked at them. Ms. Taylor, what's the argument again for the court to allow in the CDRs for Harry Lockhart, also known as
You're right. He was referenced in, well, his name was brought up as having communication with one of the co-conspirators in
which one?
Justin Johnson.
His name was brought up in text messages or?
No,
in
his
testimony?
name was brought up in Browning's testimony on yesterday.
Okay, as what? I mean,
As having, this was on July 27th. It was in reference to Justin texting him about talking to Juke, and it's also, I believe, relevant as to the brought in referencing his name. They indicated that Justin was doing, not Justin, I'm sorry, Joshua Taylor, Harry Lockhart, I'm sorry, all the names are starting to be confusing. Harry Lockhart was talking, or was referenced in some of Justin's text messages in regards to maybe Justin doing the outside thing, outside of the conspiracy.
and you said specifically on July 27th,
Yes, Your Honor.
as we were going through text messages on yesterday?
No, he was brought up in Browning's testimony
Right.
in regards to July 27th.
So what I'm saying is that did we not see text messages yesterday from July 27th?
Just from Justin Johnson.
Well, that's what we're talking about, right? We're talking about, so, Ms. Johnson's communications with Harry Lockhart.
On yesterday is how Harry Lockhart became relevant. And it's also referenced in Justin Johnson's text message to, I think, another individual
About Harry Lockhart.
about Harry Lockhart.
Okay, so my question to you is that when Sergeant Browning was testifying yesterday going through his PowerPoint, was Harry Lockhart mentioned on the 27th? Since you
Yes.
because you referenced the 27th.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
And you think it's relevant now, because I'm sure that's what your argument is going to be. I didn't necessarily get that from you. Is your argument that it's not relevant?
Yes, Your Honor, just like yesterday, it's just a passing reference in the text. There's no
Right.
ham, and you suppressed that yesterday because that's the
Well,
whole point.
I got that, and I agree with what I just read, that it is just passing here. Ms. Taylor just brought up another argument, but that it was brought up in Sergeant Browning's testimony yesterday that there were conversations on text message from Justin Johnson to Harry Lockhart that she says is relevant because Harry Lockhart's name came up yesterday.
Right. It just happens to be a passing thing on cross that we're doing a text message. You can white it out for all I care. I didn't need his name in there. I'm just giving you the text message because Justin Johnson was talking to somebody else, and he said it wasn't relevant. We didn't bring it up. We didn't emphasize it. We didn't do anything. I don't even know what ham has to do with the price of tea in China.
But it's now in the text messages that you've entered.
His name,
That's
but they
to say
entered.
that you highlighted some text messages, okay?
Right.
That says that you're making the argument that Justin Johnson was having individual conversations outside of Govan, Mr. Govan.
I'm not.
Whatever.
It's in there, but
Yeah.
on direct, they brought it up, that Justin Johnson.
And I
texted him.
understand, but you've now highlighted it, and so, Ms. Taylor, what's your response that it's not relevant here,
Well-
that it can be whited out as far as he's concerned?
Well, now they want it whited out. They didn't do that yesterday, and they could have done that then. But also, Your Honor, I would further state that there are communications between Mr. Govan and Mr. Lockhart during the time of this conspiracy, which I think is relevant. And if they're going to bring it up that Justin, may have been doing some outside things, it's important for the jury to also know that Mr. Lockhart had communications with Mr. Govan.
Judge, they brought up the communication between Justin Johnson and him. They brought it up in their text message. It was already there. So when I'm crossing in with some of these other text messages, that guy's name is referenced. We didn't bring any other specific text messages between Ham and Justin Johnson. They brought it up. It wasn't relevant to them yesterday when they went through a very lengthy direct examination. It's what they brought it up. I didn't even ask the name Ham. I just read the text message like you instructed me to do and admitted this stuff. It has nothing to do with anything as far as that goes. They brought it up. And I'm just responding to that. It wasn't relevant in direct examination, but now it's relevant.
What's your response?
I reiterated that, the call records, they aren't coming in through another witness. These are self-authenticating documents that I feel are relevant to Mr. Govan. If their argument is going to be, which they asserted several times yesterday, that Justin Johnson was going outside this and he was talking about Ham and referencing Ham and sending information about Juke to Ham, it's also relevant that Ham, or Mr. Lockhart, has communications with Govan. It's not outside of the scope of the conspiracy.
Your Honor, they're conflating the issues. They brought up the fact that Justin Johnson is outside the scope of the conspiracy. My text messages don't have any communication with him. It's through somebody else. If they want to bring in the TZ stuff, I agree. I put in a text between Justin Johnson and TZ. Got it. It's the same argument we went through yesterday on chat. They brought up the Ham community.
And I would Ham was mentioned, and I'm looking at Exhibit 26, that Ham was mentioned in this text message from Justin Johnson to TZ, Joshua Taylor. I'm going to exclude that one. As to Harry Lockhart, also known as Ham. You cannot use those.
We have no objection to the TZ one, Your Honor, based on my argument.
All right. So you can use the TZ, Joshua Taylor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else? is your medical examiner here?
Yes, sir.
I want to put her on.
Well, I will just say I have no further questions for Sergeant Brown.
Okay.
I don't even know if he's here.
Yeah, he can be released, and then bring in the medical examiner. And we'll just let the jury know that he's been released.
And the CDRF with the self-authenticating document we have there.
Okay, we'll put that, let's get the medical examiner on here, and then we'll put that in.
Just finish the list of trash. Sure.
Yes. And you don't have that motion to do that.
Okay, well, I didn't, sometimes I've got on here,
She probably got trash can over there too.
I've got a lot of ladies. You're on the east, off your home.
Ready, Your Honor?
Yes.
Jury's now in.
Good morning.
Morning.
Before we call our next witness, you should know that Sergeant Browning was excused yesterday without any further questions. Okay. Call your next witness.
The state calls Dr. Juliet Scantlebury.
Stand right here, ma'am. Face you on the raise your right hand, please.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
Have a seat. Thank you for your presence this morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you state and spell your name for the record?
My name is Dr. Juliet Scantlebury, Juliette, Scantlebury, Scantlebury,
And where are you employed?
at University of Tennessee, at a West Tennessee Regional Forensic Center.
And what's your position?
I'm an assistant medical examiner,
How long have you been in that position?
6 years.
And what does your job consist of?
My job consists of performing medical legal autopsies to determine cause and manner of death in certain cases in this jurisdiction.
So I want to talk a little bit about your background. Could you tell the jury about your education?
Yes. So I completed my medical degree at Harvard University College of Medicine. My anatomic and clinical pathology residency was at Washington University in St. Louis. And then my last training was in forensic pathology fellowship at St. Louis University.
And are you board certified?
I am.
And are you a licensed physician in Tennessee?
I am.
And could you tell the jury what is forensic pathology?
So forensic pathology is a specialized branch of medicine that examines deceased persons to determine the cause and manner of death in a medical legal approach.
So what does a forensic pathologist do?
So a forensic pathologist performs autopsies based on the jurisdiction that they're working in to determine the cause and manner of death for certain types of cases that are under our purview.
And what exactly is an autopsy?
So an autopsy is an extensive examination of a deceased person. They have an external examination and an internal examination of the body. So you look at everything, their body habitus, see if they have any scars, tattoos, that's external examination. And then the internal autopsy, we'll look at all body cavities, we'll weigh all organs, and we also go ahead and look at the brain and we take certain fluids to be able to test to determine by toxicology or histology to determine, and with all that together we determine what most likely caused the death for a person if we do an autopsy.
So Dr. Scantlebury, are there different stages of an autopsy?
Yes.
And what are those stages?
Okay. Autopsy itself is looking at the body, but starts from the investigation. So an investigator will give us some information, and the information we get from the investigator determine what type of autopsy we need to do. And if there's determined that a full autopsy needs to be performed, we might need x-rays, we do that first. Someone will help take all the clothing off, if there are any, take necessary pictures, necessary measurements of the body, the height, weight, and any other identifying characteristics on the body. And then move on to the internal part, and that's where we'll make an incision to open up the body cavity to see the internal cavity and see all the organs and any changes that might have happened that might be related to death or otherwise.
And have you performed an autopsy before?
I have.
About how many would you say?
Over 2,000. I stopped counting after that.
So could you explain to the jury, what does cause of
Cause of death is the immediate reason that led to a person's death. So it may have different ways of saying. So if it's natural, it would be what medical disease led to cause a person to.
Is that different from manner of death?
Yes.
How is it different?
So manner of death is the classification of that type of death it was. So it will be how you would want to classify the death. So there are 5 manners of death in this jurisdiction. It may vary in places, but here there's natural, accident, suicide, homicide, and undetermined.
And have you ever testified about your findings from an autopsy you did?
Yes.
And have you ever been qualified as an expert witness in the area of forensic pathology?
I have.
And have you been qualified in the courts of this county and other counties?
I have.
Where have you been qualified before?
Illinois, Missouri, and Tennessee.
Your Honor, I tendered Dr. pathology and asked that she be allowed to state her opinions as to a reasonable degree of certainty, medical certainty.
No objection.
The court will find that Dr. Scantlebury is an expert in the area of forensic pathology, therefore she can testify as to the cause and manner of death and give her opinions as to that matter.
Thank you. Dr. Scantlebury, I want to ask you about a specific autopsy. Did you perform an autopsy for an Adolph Thornton Jr.?
I did.
Okay. And do you recall when this autopsy was performed?
Yes.
When was it performed?
November 18th, 2021.
Okay. And during the course of conducting this autopsy, did you also take pictures of Mr. Thornton's body?
Pictures were taken.
Okay.
No objections, David.
Okay. I'm passing you a few of the pictures from this autopsy. Dr. Scantleberry, do you recognize the photographs we just handed you?
I do.
Okay. And do they accurately depict the victim and the evidence during the autopsy?
They do.
Okay. Your Honor, I would like to have these photos of the autopsy entered into evidence and marked as the next number exhibit.
Well, she needs to testify about what they are.
If we could enter them as a collective exhibit.
Well, that's fine, but she still, for the record, we need to know what they are. She needs to testify to each of them individually.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to publish them, that makes me no difference, but she needs to tell us what each one of them is.
Dr. Scantleberry, if you would look at that first picture, what is shown in that first picture?
So this first picture shows the Mr. Thornton on the right side of his body, but some of his head and his right shoulder, and it shows some gunshot wounds of his right jaw, right neck, and right shoulder.
And what about the second picture?
This is a shot of his right upper extremity, right forearm, so here and here.
And what about the third picture?
This is another shot of the right side of his body, mostly with the right arm, and it shows his right hand, and there's a gunshot wound of his right wrist, and it shows another gunshot wound of his right forearm.
And as to the fourth picture?
This shows some other upper extremity.
And the fifth picture?
So this picture shows the back of Mr. Thornton's body, and you can see both arms and his back, and you can see the majority of the gunshot wounds of the back, and you can also see some gunshot wounds of his upper extremities.
And the sixth picture?
This is another picture showing the same thing, but it was taken from the left side of the back and upper extremities.
And the seventh picture?
This is a closer view of the gunshot wounds of the back from the left side of the body.
And the eighth picture?
This is an overall view of the bullet fragments that were recovered from the right jaw from Mr. Thornton.
And the ninth picture?
These are bullet fragments from the torso from Mr. Thornton, pictures of bullet fragments.
And the 10th photo?
This is shows a picture of the remote bullet from the left thigh.
And the 11th?
This is a remote bullet from the right lobe of the liver.
And the 12th?
This is a bullet core fragment from the right chest. This is a bullet from the lower mid-back.
Your Honor, we'd like to have these photos of the autopsy entered as a collective.
No objection to any of that.
We're gonna make this a collective exhibit. Pages. Multiple body with multiple gunshot wounds. Next 7
published?
Yes.
Dr. Scandalberry, we're going to start with the first photo that you viewed. Could you tell us what is seen in this photo?
The right side of Mr. Thornton's body, the case placard with the case number associated with this case can be seen. This will help you. And it can also use as a scale for the wounds or anything you need to measure. On the right side of the body, you see those defects in the wounds of his right neck and right jaw, and then there's some gunshot-related injuries of the right shoulder.
Did you have any specific findings as to this injury?
Yes.
What were those findings?
So the injuries of the right jaw and the right neck cause injury to the tongue and skeletal muscle and the right. Those were injured.
Okay. Moving on to the second photo that you viewed. What is shown in this photo?
This is the photo of his right arm. So to the right of the image, that is his right arm. And most of what you can see is right forearm. And this is the front side of it, the anterior portion. You can see those two large defects are gunshot wounds.
Okay. Were there exit wounds on this part of his body?
Not that one. Those are kind of graze or tangential wounds.
And what is shown?
I'm sorry.
What is shown in this picture?
The right side of the body, and you can see a gunshot wound in the right wrist.
Okay.
And another defect a little earlier, smaller defect.
Moving on to the fourth picture. Could you tell the jury what we see in this photo?
So this is a photo of Mr. Thornton's left forearm, and it shows a gunshot wound and some gunshot-related injuries of the left forearm.
Moving on to the fifth photo. What do we see in this photo?
So this is the backward view of Mr. Thornton. His head is to the right and his feet are to the left of the photo. And you can see his arms, you can see some of the same gunshot wounds you saw in previous photos, but on the back view you can see the overall view of the gunshot wounds of the back.
Okay. And moving on to the
This is similar but from the left approach of the body. You can see its overall view of the gunshot wounds of the left back, of the back.
And
This is a closer view of the gunshot wounds.
okay. So in total, how many gunshot entrance wounds were there on Mr. Thornton?
Definitive gunshot entrance wounds, 20.
And were there any exit wounds?
Definitive exits, 4.
Okay. And moving on to the eighth photo. What do we see in this photo?
So these are bullet fragments of the right jaw. These are all the larger fragments that were able to be recovered from those wounds that you saw in the right neck and jaw.
And that was from the first photo that we viewed?
Yes.
Okay. And the ninth photo?
So
Okay. And the 10th?
this is a remote bullet from the left thigh.
All right. And the 11th photo?
This is a remote bullet from the right lobe of the liver.
Okay. And the 12th photo?
This is a bullet core fragment recovered from the right chest.
And the 13th photo?
This is a bullet from the lower mid-back.
Okay. And the 14th photo, what do we see here?
This is the underside of a bullet base that was remote, that was recovered from the right buttock.
Can you describe to the jury, what is a remote bullet?
So remote is people use different words. Words can say remote or old, but I choose to use remote. Remote means it's a bullet that is related to a previous injury or previous shooting, not the shooting that led to their death in this case. It's happened before.
Okay. And how How many, or do you recall how many remote bullets you might have found?
There were 3.
Okay. So, Dr. Scantleberry, within a reasonable degree of medical certainty, did you render an opinion as to Mr. Thornton's cause of death?
I did.
And what was that opinion?
Gunshot wounds of the head, neck, and torso.
And did you render an opinion as to the manner of death?
I did.
And what was that opinion?
Homicide.
Your Honor, I will pass the witness.
No questions, Your Honor. Thank you, Dr. Sandberg.
Thank you, Dr. Call your next witness.
Your Honor, that is the state's proof, with the exception of the,
Go ahead and read that.
is it something that you wanted us to read into evidence? This was just a stipulation.
Oh, that wasn't a stipulation.
No, it was.
Your Honor, I'll stipulate to the phone records, no problem.
Has it already, did we already put it in the evidence?
No,
We
no.
talked about it, we haven't
Yeah.
put it in the evidence. So ladies and gentlemen, there are, when you go back to deliberate, you will have everything that's been entered as an exhibit. There are at least 2 documents or 2 exhibits that you haven't necessarily heard specific proof about. They are called, what you might have heard is CDR. The law will allow certain records to be entered into evidence without testimony about them. And so that's what Ms. Taylor is getting ready to enter into evidence now. It's been refined by the state, and there was one that was entered yesterday also. So you'll have a few things that you can review, but you haven't necessarily heard testimony about.
Attached is the self-authenticating document and the flash.
Now this is self-authenticating document for phone number 901-283-3878. From T-Mobile, attested to by a Joe Rico. Also I have here is a zip drive, a blue zip drive that has Joshua Taylor's name on the outside of the envelope, and it has CDR. So these are the call detail records for one Joshua Taylor. Let's enter this as collectively.
This one.
So Ms. Taylor, do you officially want to rest or
In front of that is the state's proof.
thank you? Ladies and gentlemen, we need to take a brief break. We're coming back in just a few minutes. You haven't heard all the proof. Continue to do what I know you've been doing, which is not talking about this case. Give us a few. We'll call you back in just a few minutes. Mr. Roy, you have a motion?
Yes, Your Honor, I was moving for a directed verdict, understanding that Mr. Cornelius has given some statements about that he was ordered to do it. I don't know if that rises to the level of a conspiracy or agreement amongst the parties. It was very inconsistent as far as that goes. Secondly, there's been no mention of Justin Johnson as part of the conspiracy at all whatsoever. I understand it takes two to tango, but I just don't see where the proof adds up to the conspiracy, and certainly not to the first-degree murder charge in count 2 based on the evidence that you've got.
Ms. Powers, Mr. Williams, excuse me.
Your Honor, the court is to view the evidence in the light most favorable to the state. We've heard testimony from Ms. Thornton that Mr. Thornton, the victim, was alive, is no longer alive. We heard testimony from Dr. Juliet Scantlebury, who testified as to the. We heard from a few other witnesses, like Renee Smith and Angela Arnold, stating that told Smith about this hit on Mr. Thornton and told him about the price. So all that to say, Your Honor, and also, Your Honor, that Justin Johnson was involved and was a part of it. So all that to say, the state would argue that there is enough for a reasonable jury to conclude guilt.
And Your Honor, if I have no quibble, of course, he was alive and he's since passed. I'm just communicating 2+ days on the phone calls that the government submitted yesterday. Cornelius Smith, supposed last phone call was on the 15th of November, 2 days prior to the murder. It was for 0 seconds, and then there was that code 11 that Garner talked about, might have been voicemail. It was a fact that he didn't talk to Justin Johnson based on the phone records. You're being asked to make a lot of supposition here based on what Cornelius Smith said. Cornelius Smith also said there was no plan. He got a call that morning, they got there, and they were just riding around doing whatever. Now the fact, prior to that fact, said to you there may be a price on somebody's head. And was it Justin Johnson? I'm sorry, was it Govan or was it Joe? You've heard both things from the same witnesses that said it both ways in uncontroverted evidence. And so I'm not sure, how do you have a plan when I say, hey, there's a hit on these people. Some point in the future they killed them, now I'm on the hook for it. I just don't see how that makes a conspiracy. Generally, there's been meeting in minds as to how, who, what, when, where. Nothing happened. It was just a generic, if you believe Cornelius. 4 months prior to the shooting, there was a generic, you can get paid.
In the light most favorable to the state, the court has heard from different witnesses. There has been some conflicting testimony. However, the court thinks that the state has made a prima facie case for both conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and first-degree murder, and it's a jury question. So I'm going to deny your motion. Are you ready to present proof?
Could I just throw a couple minutes to see who's here? I told him 10:30. He said, I didn't know if
We'll stay in a brief recess.
Court stands in a brief recess.
All right. Yeah, let's go back on the record.
Court's back in session.
Bring the jury back in.
okay, Your Honor?
Yeah.
All right, jury is now adjourned.
Okay, are you for witness?
Lieutenant Coburn, the same job.
Stand right here, sir. Raise your right hand facing the honor.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
See, watch this, please.
All right, could you please tell us your full name, spell out your first and last name, please?
Michael Coburn, MichaelCoburn.
And I see the lieutenant bar is in your uniform. Could you tell this jury where you work
I'm currently assigned as a supervisor to crime scene
and with what department?
with the Memphis Police Department.
And how long have you been a police officer?
Almost 28 years,
And how long have you been doing crime scene analysis, I guess?
about 15 years.
Have you been qualified as an expert in crime scene analysis in the past by the state?
I have,
And you testified as an expert?
yes,
Have you testified in Shelby County as an expert?
yes,
And crime scene analysis meaning you look for blood, evidence in cars, houses, stuff like that?
yes,
And that's what you've been qualified on behalf by the state in many cases in the past?
yes.
Your Honor, I move to have Lieutenant Coburn admitted as an expert in crime scene investigation.
Hey, Ms. Williams, any objection? All right, qualify Lieutenant Michael Coburn as an expert in crime scene analysis.
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor. Back in 2021, I think you were a sergeant based on your reports, is that correct?
I was assigned to homicide.
Did you happen to work on the crime scene analysis for the murder case of Adolph Thornton?
For V.
Typically process a Mercedes-Benz vehicle in that case?
I did,
And was that car recovered, and I guess you looked at it on November 20th of 2021, is that correct?
yes.
Okay. I'm going to show you a few photos that have previously been marked into evidence and just make sure that's the same car, okay?
Okay.
My other lawyer, Robert, will do that. We're going to put in Exhibit 11 that's previously been marked and entered. Distance shot. Does that look like a Mercedes that you processed? Please. Exhibit 12, it'll be 12, 13, and 14. I just want to get the jury acclimated to the car. Close-up view of the car.
Yes, sir.
Same license plate and everything that you processed.
It is.
Okay.
13.
Yes. I've said we're going to do 13 and 14. Just the front view of the same car?
Yes, sir.
Same thing?
Yes.
All right. And then where do you process the car?
At 475 Clank, it's a warehouse.
Okay. So I guess it gets towed over to the police warehouse?
Yes, sir.
All right. With regards to processing the car, can you tell the jury what exactly you do?
Primarily, we document evidence, collect evidence, touch DNA, and just evidence like clothing or something, anything the investigator is looking for.
You also look for blood?
Yes,
You also look for evidence of somebody trying to clean up the crime scene?
sure.
All right. So with regards to this Mercedes, I think they used to call it luminol, and that's what you hear on TV, but it's Blue Star now, right? That's what you guys use to look for trace evidence?
Never use Blue Star because luminol requires more darkness than Blue Star does.
All right. And Blue Star was used in this case?
It was.
All right. So without getting into the nuts and bolts, you processed this car with Lucid?
Correct.
And if I were to tell you that a witness has said that he took a towel, put a bunch of bleach on it, and wiped the car of that in this case?
No.
And you would see that with aluminum, that there's bleach and things like that with some research. Okay, because otherwise people could get away with anything.
Correct.
Did not happen with regards to this car.
No, sir.
So if I said under oath, I got bleach, put it on a towel, wipe that car down, complete lie.
Yes.
Thank you. No more questions.
Sergeant Coburn?
Lieutenant.
Lieutenant Coburn.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
very sorry.
That's all right.
Lieutenant Coburn, correct.
Correct.
You found several prints outside of the car, is that correct?
I did.
You didn't find any prints on the front passenger, outside of the vehicle, is that correct?
I'd have to look at the, summary of it.
Just one second. Let me ask you also, did you process the inside of the vehicle?
I did.
Did you find any prints of value inside of the vehicle?
I couldn't say without looking at the narrative. No, there's a lot of print cards.
What did you say?
There's a lot of print cards that I looked at.
Oh.
It's what we put the prints on.
No further questions.
No more questions.
Thank you. Dennis. Call your next witness.
Call Miss Vivian Ferguson, Your Honor. She may need some help getting up this matter. Deputy.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Have a seat, ma'am. Watch your step.
Good morning, Ms. Ferguson. Would you tell the jury your name and could you spell it for me?
My name is Vivian Banks Ferguson.
And could you spell that just because the court reporter needs to get it right?
Which one?
Your first name, middle name, and last
Vivian,
name.
capital V-I-V-I-A-N. B as in boy, A-N-K-S, Banks. Ferguson, capital F-E-R-G-U-S-O-N.
And Ms. Ferguson, how old are you?
80.
Okay. We're never supposed to ask that question, so I apologize. Do you live next to Cornelius Smith Sr.?
I live next to King Smith, his daddy.
Okay. So his daddy's King Smith lives next door to you, right? And you have to say yes or no. I'm sorry, Ms. Ferguson.
Yes.
All right. And Cornelius Smith, that's somebody you know, right?
Yes.
Could you tell the jurors how you know Mr. Cornelius Smith?
He's a young man that lived next door, and the only reason I had to came in contact with him, he always would do nice things for me. Like when I go shopping, he always would get my grocery out the car and bring it in the house for me. That was good for me because I was tired. So that's not only that, that's the only time that he come around. If I needed something done, I could ask him, and he would do it. And if he charged me, I would pay him. But he never charged me for anything. To me, he was a nice kid.
So, Ms. Ferguson, you and I talked at your house last week, just a few days ago, right? You'll have to say yes or no.
Yes.
All right. And I also asked you if Cornelius Smith said a few years ago that somebody came by your house to give you $500 for him. Would that be true or false?
That would not be true.
All right. So if Mr. Cornelius Smith said under oath that, like, you're like a grandmother to him, right?
If that's what you want to say?
Okay, I'm just repeating what I've heard in court. So if he said that you got $500 for him to hold, never happened.
Never happened.
Not yesterday, not 5 years ago, not 10 years ago.
No, if somebody was going to leave something for Cornelius at my house, they probably stuck it in my mailbox or something like that. But I haven't received any cash or any envelope for him.
So if somebody said you were specifically given $500, would be a lie.
It would be a lie.
All right. And I'm really sorry to call you. I know the last time you came to court was talking about your son's murder, so I 100% apologize. I know you were very upset outside. So thank you for your honesty.
Okay.
No cross, Your Honor.
Thank you, ma'am, for coming. You're free to go.
Okay.
Call your please.
I don't have any more witnesses, Judge. We're going to rest.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to that juncture where you have heard all of the proof, but there's still one more piece left that you don't have, and that is the law that you're going to get from me. So give us a few minutes, and we'll get back with you. So please don't discuss this yet. Okay? Thank you.
Jurors excused.
All right.
The only thing I have to do, Judge, is once we get that exhibit worked out that we were talking about, I'll move that into evidence. I didn't want to.
That's fine. If we will, you got it?
All right, let me get the stipulation signed.
That's fine.
What's the next number, Your Honor?
33. 33. Mr. Aurora,
Yes, sir.
I need you to put your client on the stand. We need to do a moment here.
Yes, sir.
This is a good time to do that. Come on around, Mr. Govan.
Yeah, actually, it's on the record.
Is this on the record?
Yeah.
Okay.
Govan, right here. Raise up your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
It's probably a little out of order, but better late than never, I guess. Mr. Aurora, would you like to
Yes.
ask your client some questions?
Mr. Govan, would you please spell your first and last name for the record?
HERNANDEZ
And Mr. Govan, you and I have talked about your right to testify at trial, correct?
Yes, sir.
I've advised you that I would recommend not testifying based on some of the evidentiary rulings. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've agreed with me that you do not wish to testify.
Yes, sir.
And that's freely and voluntarily. Nobody's forcing you to do that.
Nobody's forcing me.
Nobody's threatening you to do that.
No, sir.
All right. And this is something you are doing freely and voluntarily again.
Correct.
All right. I'm going to stamp this 33 on it and give you the stipulation.
Can I have that?
I was just going to make a sticker on it.
So this is all of them?
This is all of them, state and federal.
Are they labeled? Yours were labeled pretty good. Did y'all, I mean, so they'll know which bite is which?
The two that overlap, Your Honor, essentially are the same. Theirs are just a few seconds longer, so
right.
they should be able to figure it out pretty easily.
That ain't what I.
Okay.
Are they labeled?
Ours are labeled. They will have, I believe they have initials, so like if it's an Angela Arnold clip, it will say AA, and then whatever the contents, joke or.
Right, okay. As long as they're labeled somehow, they're just not just clips with nothing
Yeah,
other than a
they're
bunch of numbers on them.
Yeah, they're labeled so I can find them, so same.
All right, this is order stipulating to the police interview sound bites that were testified to on yesterday.
Angela Arnold, Cornelius Smith, and also the detective. We played parts of sound bites from the interviews for all three from Your Honor.
Okay.
Yeah, Detective Browning, I'm sorry, he said Smith, it was Browning.
Okay. And the stipulation reads that whereas there having been presented to me the Honorable Jennifer Johnson Mitchell, Judge of Division 10 of the Criminal Court of Tennessee, 30th Judicial District at Memphis for the purpose of trial, sound bites from police interviews with witnesses. The sound bites were stipulated by the Assistant District Attorney and Attorney for Defendant Hernandez Govan and shall be entered into the evidence by this agreement, signed by Assistant District Attorney and Attorney for Defendant. And the sound bites are captured on a black zip drive in a brown envelope that I'm going to place on here. Police sound bites, police interview sound bites.
Yes, Your Honor.
Of Angela Arnold, because this is just of Angela Arnold. Correct?
It's all of it, Your Honor. It's Angela Arnold, Cornelius Smith, and Detective Browning.
All right, police. Of Angela Arnold, Cornelius Smith, and who's the third person?
Detective Browning, Your Honor.
What was his first name?
Jesse.
Thank you. All right, I put just that on the police sound bites of A. Arnold, C. Smith, and Detective J. Brown. We'll mark this as collective exhibit 33. All right. Have you had an opportunity to look at the jury charge? All right. Well, you need to take a few minutes because we're gonna charge this jury, looks like after lunch. That'll give us time to, you review it, and then we'll come back and talk about it on the record and make sure it includes everything it needs to include and make sure it doesn't have anything in it that doesn't need to be in there. And that'll give me time to get it printed, and I'll charge them after lunch, probably about 1:30.
And just to give you a heads up, the only thing we would ask is the accessory after the fact charge. That was the only thing I didn't see in there yet.
Okay.
It's 3.03, is that right?
It's 3.03.
As to both,
Yes, sir.
okay. State, any objection to that?
No.
Okay. All right, well, I'll add that. I'm gonna go back and add the other expert. I just added the Scanoberry. I'm gonna add the guy who just testified. I'm gonna add the stipulation. You know, look at it, tell me what else I've left out. Just look at it.
Yes, sir.
Look at it, let me know. Okay? We'll stay in recess.
What's in recess?
You said 1 o'clock, Joe?
No, not for y'all.
Okay.
I need to know, probably within the next 30 minutes or so, if you think the charge is complete. I need to know what you think about the charge.
I think we're all good except for what we just mentioned.
Okay, so you have reviewed it?
Yes,
Okay.
we reviewed it last night.
Oh, okay. But so, no, let's say 12 o'clock for lawyers, so we can make sure it looks like it should look. And then we'll, probably recess to 1:30 because I think lunch is coming somewhere in that time period. Okay? Understand me?